Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a deck profile on the requested 7 Seas Granblue deck. So this is one that I've been meaning to post, but I just didn't have the time to film it until now. So without further ado, this is what I came up with. So 7 Seas is probably right now considered the most competitive Granblue deck. It's really fast because it's not GB restricted. It has some very explosive plays. 7 Seas, Nightmist kind of always was like that. Back when I combined it with the Legion, I think that was one of the best Granblue decks out there besides Cositis. Cositis was okay, but Cositis was kind of slow and just overall not as fun and thrilling to play with the fast-paced playstyle that Granblue is capable of compared to 7 Seas, which is very good, very fast. So for the main deck, I still have only 3. Lord of the 7 Seas, Nightmist. I should have 4. 4 is recommended for this deck, but I just never bothered to get the 4th one. I've always only had 3 of this, and the deck has always managed to function fine, which is 3. But ideally, you do want to run 4 of him. He is overall the best grade 3 that they have. The other grade 3 is the 7 Seas Sage Plegaton from Fighters Collection that recently came out. Or not recently, but a while back he came out. So the nice thing about him is he can superior ride from the drop zone, so that can cause a superior break ride to occur on top of Nightmist. So you get that 21k plus the 2 rear guards that call up from the drop zone, and then he gets to call something as well. So you call 3 cards when you do that, and the first 2, or whichever way you want to do it, 2 of them get plus 5k, and then they get retired, but all of them get retired at the end. So 4 and 4 would be the correct way to run the deck, but for right now that's what I have for them. And then I am running 2 of this new 7 Seas Dragon Undead Prisoner Dragon. It's a grade 3 that has a rearguard effect, or actually a drop zone effect, but it gets to call itself as a rearguard to a rearguard circle. And it's basically good to use to get a strong attacker when you need one. But usually you end up using this as stride fodder along with this guy. But if you ride this guy as your first grade 3, then you're just going to try to stride as much as you can that game. So that's why I am running the 9 grade 3s. For grade 2s, 3 Ruin Shade. Ruin Shade, I've always had these 3 Ruin Shades in my 7C deck. Still 3 is good. Some people are only running 2 of them now, but I still feel that when you're up against decks like, I guess really the only one that I can think of that poses a problem for them, but you just don't see it that much in play, is the Dragonic Vanquisher, the Narukami. The new Narukamis like to bind things from the drop zone, so it can be problematic for a deck, especially like the Granblue, the Night Rose deck that is GB restricted. This way, if with Night Ruin Shade, you don't have to worry about that problem. You can start milling as fast as you can, and then rushing them. One of the good cards to mill is Dragon Corrode Corrupt Dragon. So this card came out way back when Nightmist came out with Cositis Reverse back in Catastrophic Outbreak. This is basically their 12k from the drop zone. With the break ride at 17k with no boost. It's fairly good card. So I've always tended to run 2 of them. At one point I was running like 3 of them. But it's a very good grade 2, solid card, no GB restriction, easy to get in the drop zone and revive it multiple times per game. So it's just a really solid pick, in my opinion. Next, I'm running 2 7 Seas Master Swordsman / Shade. So this is a new 7 Seas card they got from set 6 that has a drop zone effect. Basically, you can counterblast 1 and retire one of your grade 1 or greater rear guards. When your Vanguard 7 Seas attacks, you can do that. So basically what you do with this, you want to use this if you want to get a 4th attack that turn. So you can swing with the rear guard, swing with the Vanguard, and then he can come back up from the drop zone and replace that card that attacked already, and then that you have 2 rear guards that are still capable of attacking. And the nice thing is he is an 11k when he uses that effect. So pretty good. Next, 2 Witch Doctor of the 7 Seas, Rise Ruler. This card is actually quite good for an 8k. I am thinking of running 3 of it. We're not sure what card to take or take one copy out of. But this one is actually pretty solid. It's kind of like, it makes me think of like the Magia card that can call, I think it's that deer-looking creature that calls out something in the same column as it. But basically, when he's placed on R, and the nice thing about him, it's not R from drop zone. You can place him from the hand or whatever. When he's placed on R, you can counterblast 1, assuming you have a 7Cs Vanguard, so he's 7Cs restricted. You can counterblast 1, call one of your rearguards, or call one of your units a card from the drop zone. Call to rearguard circle, and that unit gets 5k, and at the end of the turn, you retire that unit. So he can do some pretty crazy plays with some other rearguards that combo their effects when they're placed in the drop zone. Such as this guy, for instance. So it's a fairly good card. Next, the only grade 2, well actually not the only grade 2, the only hollow card that I'm running in this deck is 2 Skeleton Cannoneer. Cannoneer is good because he's kind of like just giving them a retire ability. He is GB1 restricted though. I think he's the only card in the deck that's GB restricted. So when he's placed on R from the drop zone, and then you can also hollow him when that happens, but you can counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rearguard. You get to choose, that's what's nice, and retire their rearguard. And then if he's hollowed, you can draw a card. So if you want to replace him that turn, if you feel like you don't need him as an interceptor, you can decide to just draw a card. You can hollow him, and then you get to draw a card at the end of the turn, and then he gets retired. Actually, no, you draw the card before you attack, so that's actually even better. So this is actually one of the best common cards that Granblue got in the set, which it's so good that that's the reason why I'm running it in 7Cs. Originally, I built the deck without this. Like, I think I was running 3 of this, and probably 3 of Corrode or something. But I made room for this because it gives them the ability to retire opponent's rear guards. So it just opens up more capabilities for 7Cs. So that's grade 2s. Yeah, so 11 grade 2s and 9 grade 3s. For grade 1s, I'm still running my old trusty Gustions. They've been around like since I built the Granblue deck. Now Granblue finally has 2 other Sentinel units available. They have got the Trial Deck one, which is the same style of effect as this, and then they have the new Gustion, or the new Jin that has the unflip ability, which is in my Night Rose deck. So Gustion, really good. It can block for anything, protect rearguards, whatever, even though protecting rearguards in this deck is sort of irrelevant. I just still run it. Doesn't really matter. Next, 3 Boatswain Armin. Just like Dragon Corrode, when he's called from the drop zone, he gets 3k. So he's a 10k attacker or booster on the turn that you call him from drop zone. So with Break Ride skill, this will be swinging for 15 or boosting for 15. So very good. Pretty solid card still in this format. Next, 2 7Cs Hellsman Nightcrow. This replaces your Samurai Spirit and your that Pegasus, that horse creature, where you Soul Blast to retire something to call it up. Basically, this replaces those 2 in the sense that this is just a better version of them. And the only requirement is that you can't retire a Nightcrow. You must retire something that's not a Nightcrow to call this. So usually you retire a 6k that you can't use the effect anymore, or you retire like some random weaker card that you called or something. So, or if you just need to transfer to a booster or something like that. So still pretty good. Two copies is good enough in my opinion. The only requirement is you have to have a 7Cs Vanguard. So just keep that in mind. That's the only reason why he's better than Samurai Spirit, I guess, in this deck, because he doesn't have Counterblast. Next, 2 Sea Strolling Banshee. Sea Strolling Banshee has always been a very good card for Granblue. I have 3 of them total. One of them is now in the Night Rose deck as a tech copy. The other 2 are in here. Honestly, I think 2 is the right number. You won't really summon this. You won't really call this more than twice on the field per turn. So, yeah, because you need to call some other stuff to apply pressure to the opponent. So, 2 of them is enough. Like with the Break Ride, this is an 11k. You can do all kinds of crazy plays. And then my one Evil Shade that I've always been running, it's still really good booster for the Vanguard to just help you. Like it can boost Nightmist, for 10k, and you mill 2. It's basically like, I think of it as it's the grade 1 Ruin Shade, and really that's what it is, because they both mill 2 to gain 2, or actually he gains 4. So just one of him, one is enough. And then I am running one Dandy Guy Romario. He's from BT01. He's the AK Vanilla. I think, oh yeah, they actually did get a new AK Vanilla from the trial deck, which I probably should try running because of the new art. But AK in here because he can do some interesting things. He's another pretty good booster for the Vanguard, because Nightmist can swing 13, so 13 and 8, that's 21. Like, pretty easy if you can't stride for whatever reason, since you're not running stride fodder. But yeah, he's a pretty good tech card. Also, another reason why he's in here is because I am running, I believe this guy. This guy's an 8K, so on turns where you can't really do anything, the swing 16, so you know, it can make consistent numbers. For grade 1s, 4 of the original Rough Seas Banshee, and then Night Spirit and Ghoul Cannonball, so 12 critical. I didn't change the trigger lineup at all, and then 4 heal. So 12 critical in this Granblue deck is very aggressive plays. Just try to crit kill, swarm the field, crit kill the opponent. Really good against Kagero and other decks that are kind of slow. And the starter I am trying out is the new one, 7 Seas Apprentice Night Runner. I still tend to prefer Peter the Ghosty. I still think Peter the Ghosty is a very solid starter for them, especially because of Sea Strolling Banshee. It builds up soul. Peter the Ghosty mills 2, draws you a card and to replace himself, and he goes in the soul. So you can later use him for Soul Blast, for Sea Strolling Banshee, and draw some more. So this doesn't go in the soul. Instead, this is used to supplement your other cards, like the ones that revive, like this, for instance. But then you end up milling 4. So I feel like in late game, this isn't that great, because I found that the deck does tend to, if the opponent can play correctly and defend properly, they can kind of stave you off, and they'll survive. And this deck will run into the same type of problem that decks like Genesis and Spike Brothers, where they have a problem of decking out if the opponent can manage to block all their attacks. So this deck can run into deck out problems, I've found, so that's the reason why I kind of don't like this. I may switch it back to Peter the Ghosty, but I am trying it right now. It doesn't use any counterblast. The deck doesn't have any unflip engine, so for stride units, it's very simple. 2 Loved by the 7 Seas Nightmist, pretty solid stride unit for 7 Seas. All you do is main phase effect once per turn. You can counterblast 1 if you have 7 Seas in the heart. Choose up to 2 cards from your drop zone, call them to separate R, and at the end of the turn, retire those units. So this would work really good with hollow units, but for some reason, I just didn't see the need to run a lot of the hollow units, aside from the skeleton cannon guy. So 2 of him is good enough. Even with the increase to 16 cards, I would still recommend only just running 2 of him, because you'll probably want to stride like other stuff like Night Rose. They're going to get something new in the Spiders collection anyway, and then the G-Guardy and all that stuff. Next, 2 Pirate King of Secret Schemes Bandit Rum. This is the trial deck hollow stride unit. So just 2 of it for now. It kind of has a placeholder. It has on-hit pressure, but on-hit Vanguards are typically not that good for stride units. But this is basically what I have for now. The nice thing about it is when it hits a Vanguard, you call something from the drop zone, it gets 2k, and you do not have to retire that unit at the end of the turn. So I think this is actually better than Dragon Master Amanda from Pale Moon, because the unit doesn't go away. So it does help you build up the field, just in case you're up against like Diablo or something. It just makes it a little bit easier to manage the field. 1 Pirate King of the Abyss, Blue Heart. Once we go to 16 cards, I'll probably bump him up to 2, so he'll become 2. And then right now 1 Ghosty Great King of Adaya. You can also run 2 if you're on the 16 stride unit format. But yeah, he's usually the first stride. I think he's still kind of the best first stride to set up the drop zone. But honestly, you really will only stride this guy once, because you're still going to mill a few times with Ruin Shade, for example, and the starter might revive itself 1 time per game, or maybe 2 times per game, so that's like 8 cards. So we're milling a lot of cards, so I feel like this is only a 1-time stride. It's usually a pretty good first stride, that's about it. And then the Night Rose, so I only have 2, because this card is still kind of pricey. But yeah, Night Rose, just to get the Night Rose play. Once Fighters Collection comes out, I'll probably add the new Stride unit. I don't know what it does yet, I haven't looked into it. But yeah, that and then the G-Guardian, whatever it does. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of the 7 Seas deck. I think 7 Seas is actually the most fun Granblue deck. I do like the new Night Rose style, but I don't really like Magia and Night Rose or Hollow that much compared to the traditional, like the non-GB restricted style, like Silverthorn and 7 Seas. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that deck profile video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.